In the beginning of this story, we see Megamind, who is now the city's superhero and helps people. But Megamind was not always like this, as he once aspired to become a great villain instead of a good superhero. After defeating Metro Man, the city's superhero, Megamind had no one left to fight, which made him feel lonely. Therefore, Megamind created a superhero so that he could fight a superhero created by a villain. Soon, Megamind realizes his mistake when this superhero starts wreaking havoc across the city as a supervillain. Seeing this, Megamind unwillingly had to eliminate the superhero, saving the city. Because of this, he became a superhero in the eyes of the people, no longer a villain. Becoming a superhero instead of a villain made Megamind happy, and he realized that his fate was to be a hero. In the next scene, we see some people who had come to steal fish from an aquarium shop. Megamind also arrives there and stops the thieves from stealing fish. To escape, the thieves break a fish tank, and a shark inside it begins to attack Megamind. Seeing this, Megamind uses an advanced device to turn the shark into a box. Afterward, Megamind uses this device to create a trap of laser beams around the thieves, preventing them from escaping. However, the device malfunctions, and the laser trap disappears, allowing the thieves to run away. Outside, they crash into a tank, and they start attacking Megamind. Megamind manages to place the box, which he had turned the shark into, inside the thieves' tank. The box, when exposed to water, turns back into a shark, causing the tank to become unbalanced. Before the thieves can crash into a lady, Megamind uses his powers to teleport the tank to the other side and captures the thieves, saving the lady. Thanks to Megamind, the city's crime rate has drastically reduced, and peace prevails. Police officers and news reporters are praising him as the city's new superhero. A girl named Morita arrives, who runs a fan club for Megamind, and asks him what his next plan is to make the city even safer and crime-free. In the next scene, we see Chang, who is very sad because he used to be Megamind's right-hand man, but now Megamind only calls him for small tasks, leaving Chang feeling neglected. Chang misses Megamind and is unhappy with his behavior, so he confronts Megamind, telling him that if he doesn't treat him with respect, he will leave. Megamind doesn't pay much attention to this and tells Chang to leave the team, thinking that Chang won't stay away for long and will return soon. In the next scene, we see 4 supervillains in prison watching the news about Megamind becoming the city's new superhero. These 4 used to work with Megamind to cause chaos in the city. Seeing him as a superhero now, they realize that Megamind must have a bigger plan and is deceiving the people of the city for his own benefit. The 4 villains break out of jail using their powers and set off to meet Megamind. The next scene shows Megamind, tired of doing small household chores, missing Chang because Chang used to handle all such tasks before. When the doorbell rings, Megamind, thinking it's Chang returning, opens the door to find not Chang, but the 4 supervillains. The 4 villains are happy to meet Megamind because they didn't know he had changed. Megamind doesn't tell them the truth about his transformation, but makes up a story, telling them that the reporter is his fiancée to keep them from suspecting him. Later, the reporter privately asks Megamind why he lied to the villains, and he explains that if they found out he had changed, they would attack him, and Megamind couldn't defeat them alone. Megamind decides not to reveal his true intentions until he comes up with a good plan. Meanwhile, the 4 villains decide to cause destruction in the city, since they've been in jail for a long time. Megamind, when he learns of their plan, informs the reporter so she can warn the city's mayor, who evacuates the city in time. As Megamind reluctantly joins the villains in destroying the city, he secretly activates his advanced robots, which are repairing the damage caused by the criminals. During the destruction, Morita arrives and almost gets hit by a large screen, but Megamind rescues her in time. The 4 villains decide to rob the city bank, and Megamind convinces them to let him handle the robbery alone first, explaining that there are many people in the bank, and if he encounters any problems, he will call them for help. Inside the bank, Megamind struggles to figure out how to get the people to safety. Morita arrives and helps him by explaining to the people that Megamind is demonstrating how to stay safe during a bank robbery. The people follow her instructions, and the robbery is a success without the criminals realizing that Megamind is actually protecting them. That night, Megamind worries that the 4 villains will eventually learn the truth about his transformation. He recalls how Chang had easily accepted Megamind's change in the past, and realizes he should have treated Chang better. The next day, Megamind finds that the four villains have thrown a farewell party in his base, preparing for their final act of destruction. Megamind is shocked, especially when he sees members of the Fish Gang, who could reveal that Megamind had previously had them arrested. Before they can speak, Megamind uses his advanced gun to freeze them into an icebox. The next day, the four criminals demand to know Megamind's plan for destroying the city, as they had promised to help. Megamind, with no other option, tells them that he plans to launch the entire city into space using powerful rockets buried beneath the city. The villains love the idea and pressure him to execute the plan immediately. Megamind lies, telling them that he has forgotten the control room password, preventing him from launching the rockets. The villains, angered, give him 1 day to carry out the plan, threatening to destroy the city themselves if he fails. In his distress, Megamind visits Chang, who has started a new life working in a restaurant. Megamind realizes that Chang is happy in his new life and doesn't want to disturb him, so he leaves without telling him the truth. Alone, Megamind decides to stop the villains on his own. When he returns to his base, the four criminals are already there, asking for a group photo. Megamind cleverly traps them in his laser beam and reveals his true intentions. He has changed, and now wants to protect the city, not destroy it. The villains are furious with Megamind for betraying them, and as his laser beam trap malfunctions, they escape. In his panic, Megamind accidentally triggers a rocket chair, launching himself to safety while the villains chase him. Megamind narrowly escapes, but the villains, with their own powers, eventually destroy the chair with a blast. They believe that Megamind has perished in the explosion, so they proceed with their plan to launch the city's rockets into space. Meanwhile, Megamind survives, and the reporter and Marita find him. Megamind admits that he has lost because he can't defeat the four villains alone. He decides to live as a beggar so that the villains won't know he's still alive. The reporter convinces him to ask Chang for help, and Megamind agrees. When Megamind and Chang meet, they decide to work together again. The two of them, along with Morita's help, prepare a plan to stop the criminals, though they face many challenges. The four villains continue their attempts to break into the control room, but the titanium door is too strong for them to breach. Megamind and Chang, in collaboration with Morita, devise a plan to infiltrate the base without alerting the villains. Morita agrees to help them in exchange for Megamind teaching her self-defense, which she eagerly accepts. Morita is very happy about this, and goes to the supermarket to buy all the items they will need. After this, we see the four criminals who somehow manage to break into the control room. When they enter, they are shocked to see Megamind live on the display. Seeing him, the criminals immediately realize that Megamind is still alive, so they decide to kill him first. Meanwhile, Chang, with Morita, enters a secret tunnel leading toward the control room. In the tunnel, some advanced weapons start attacking Chang. He hides in one spot, which saves his life as the weapons end up shooting each other. Chang then continues to move forward, but advanced drones begin to chase him. Chang, seeing this, starts running, but soon he is captured by the drones. He manages to escape by leaving behind his bodysuit, continuing his journey. On the other side, the four criminals come out of the control room to kill Megamind. Megamind, seeing them, starts attacking them with tennis balls. Meanwhile, Chang struggles and finally manages to reach the control room. But the members of the Fish Gang also show up, stopping Chang from turning off the timer. As the rockets below the city launch, the city begins to fly into the sky. The people of the city are completely confused and scared, not knowing what to do. Chang fights bravely against the Fish Gang to stop the city from going to the moon. After a tough battle, he defeats the Fish Gang and shuts down the rocket, causing the city to rapidly fall back down. Megamind tells Chang that he has to use the hand control to stop the city from falling. But because Chang has been out of water for too long, he is too exhausted to do anything. To help, Megamind sends one of his robots to splash water on Chang, bringing him back to his senses. Meanwhile, after facing many difficulties, Megamind, with the help of the reporter and Morita, manages to defeat the four criminals. After defeating them, Megamind returns to his base with the reporter and Morita, where they see that Chang is struggling to pull the lever by himself. Megamind then joins his friends to pull the lever and save the city from destruction. Later, the city's mayor arrives and blames Megamind for everything. The reporter, hearing this, gets angry at the mayor, telling him that when the city was in great danger, He was hiding, and Megamind was the one who saved the city. In the ending scene, we see that the reporter wins the election to become the new mayor of the city due to her good deeds. Megamind, now with the reporter and his friends, decides to take responsibility for the city's security. Meanwhile, the 4 criminals are back in jail, where a strange mind creature comes to them and talks about becoming their new leader. And that's how the movie ends. How did you like the movie? Let me know in the comments. Take care, and goodbye.